Well, welcome everyone. I see we have some people near to where I am in Virginia, near to where Felicia is in Texas, and we have people from Hawaii and all over joining us for this class today. So welcome to everyone joining us. Today's workshop is making this explosion box using your Silhouette machine and the Silhouette software. So the explosion box is basically a box. It looks like a little gift box as you get started. And then when you take off the top, it explodes with designs. And you can really, it's like a scrapbook card. You just kind of build that out and make it nice and big for your user, your mom or your grandmother, or maybe you're just making it for yourself. Now on the inside, we're only making one layer today, but I'm going to show you how you can resize the box either to go a little bit bigger if you want, or if you want to add multiple layers inside the box, you can do that. And make multiple boxes inside one box. You'll just need the one outer box and the one lid, but then you can make it bigger if you want to. Supplies we have on hand to make the box. I chose a pack of paper. I used the Echo Park paper. On this one, it was by a company called Doodlebug, but the pack of paper has different, let me grab this up here. We have different styles of paper that have designs on both sides of your cardstock, which I felt was kind of important for this design because you're going to have the outside of your box and the inside of your box. So each of your papers has a front side and a back side. It also has some cut apart pages and a sticker sheet on the inside of it. So that's what I'm using. I have some solid cardstock to go with it. And then I'll be using my paper adhesive. So my favorite adhesive is the tape glider. This is by Scotch, and I know it looks really big. And at first I was always like, oh, it's kind of intimidating. But once you get comfortable with it, it's great for card making, for scrapbooking, any paper crafts you do. And then I also have the Ultabond, which is a paper adhesive that I really like. It doesn't wrinkle the paper. And then you may want to have like some foam dots or foam squares if you want to give your embellishments a little pop. So the class is going to be sort of three parts. The first part, I'm just going to do a quick presentation and give you sort of an overview of what we're going to do. And then we'll go into the Silhouette software together and build our design. I'll show you how to find it and everything. And then we'll cut and make it. So the first part is just the broad overview. The second part is going into our software, and then the third part is the assembly. And again, along the way, if you have any questions or you need me to, kind of go over a step again, please do not hesitate to let us know in that Q&A, and you can ask any other questions. So let's get started. All right, I'll go ahead and share my screen here. I'm going to use this one. Let's go ahead and share. And I got to get a few things out of the way before I can share. Oh, present. And we'll go right here. Okay. So the Silhouette machines really allow you to pretty much dream anything and cut it up. So you're going to dream up your ideas and then use your digital cutters to cut it out. I'll be using the Silhouette machines today. However, you could be using you could use the Caesar, Juliet, or Romeo machines. You also have all the different Cricut machines that you might be joining with, or you may just have your paper and a ruler. So you'll be able to kind of create wherever you are, but I will be using the digital cutter today to show you kind of how easy it is to work with. So the materials and supplies, I'll be using the Silhouette Cameo today. And my paper packs are from Echo Park. I have links to here. So at the end of the presentation, at the end of the class day, we'll share the presentation link. So if you want to get the New Day or the Spring Fling packs, those are active links there. Now, the image that we're going to be using is in the free images. When you purchased your Cameo or your Curio or your portrait, you get a collection of free images. So the expanding box template that we're using today is included as one of those free images in your Cameo machine. So you want to make sure that you pull that out, and that's the one we'll be using. You can also find an image for an exploding box. Like, let's say instead of that exploding box we're going to be using has hearts on the side, but perhaps you want to have one that has flowers on the side or is just no design on the side. You can always find an exploding pattern, an exploding box pattern, like on Etsy or Creative Fabrica, and upload those images into the silhouette design space. So you can kind of work your way multiple ways to getting the design. Now, when we go into our library and we add the image to our canvas, it all will come in as one grouping of images. Before you ungroup the images, we want to make sure that it's the size that you'd like it to be. So I'm going to show you how to resize this design, and then we'll ungroup the design. For this particular one that I'm working with, in my pack of paper, I have these little 3x3 squares of designs that will fit perfectly on the top of your box. So I'll be making, I need to enlarge my box to be the base of it to be 3x3. Now, if you want to make it smaller, then you can just keep it all together and reduce it in size. You don't always have to go bigger. You can go smaller. Now, once you have that size the way that you want it to, you can always add additional elements to your canvas. So initially, we're just going to get the first layers cut out and sort of positioned and figure out where you want to add to it. And then we're going to talk about how to, if you want to add cardstock to the hearts, or if you want to make a little pocket to go with it. I'll walk you through that in the design space. Now, in Silhouette Studio, sorry. But then we'll send it to our cutter and we'll get everything cut out. What I want you to notice is when you take your design from the canvas and hit the send icon, you'll notice that your image has like these little dashed lines through it. So those lines are the score lines. So instead of using a scoring tool, which you might use if you were cutting this out by hand, you could just, the blade in your digital cutter will cut along those scoring lines, and then we'll just score those out like that. Now, I'm pointing out, if you can see where the eraser tool is on the side, I want to kind of point that out, because if we make those little heart shapes to go inside, we may need to grab that eraser tool. So I want to show you where that eraser tool is. And this is a way that you can remove cut lines from your shape. Okay, and then after this class, if you're thinking ahead to classes in June, we will have a Silhouette stickers class to sort of get started on some summer projects, which I know, I can't believe the kids are almost out of school and we're getting ready. We're thinking about like how to keep them busy over summer. Okay, so before I jump into the software, are there any questions? The first thing that I'll give you a minute to type them in. The first thing, we're just going to resize our box. And as I mentioned, the pack of cardstock I'm using has this printed page. There's a couple different ones in here, but there's one in particular that has 3-inch by 3-inch boxes. So this cuts up into different sizes. So I wanted to use Life is Fun with You, since this is a Mother's Day inspired little box. So this is sort of what I'm going to be using as the guide for my size. If you want to do it smaller, you'll just make your square the size that you need it to be. But that's the first thing we're going to do. That's a good question, Linda. What is the size of the box I'm holding? Let me grab my ruler and I can tell you. So this box is 4 inches by 4 inches. on the top. So that means my inside piece, my base of it is a 4-inch by 4-inch box as well. So it fits nicely into my hand. And again, I just resized it you resize it in the actual software. Okay, so whatever size works for you. But let's go ahead. That's a great question. All right, so let me share my screen again and pull up my Silhouette Studio software. So the first thing you're going to do, I'll just give myself a fresh canvas to start with. And the first thing we're going to do is go to the library and find our box. Now, in my library, I have the designs that were free with the machine. And with the Cameo, I got the expanding box. So you can do a search in your library of images for the expanding box. If you don't see it in there, you can always go to the store and type in expanding box and find the expanding box in the library of images. So we're just going to use this expanding box right here. When I double click on that box, it will come into my canvas. Now, I want to just kind of go over the different pieces that are included in this. I have the template. That's the base of it. And you'll just notice all it really is 4 different squares. So you have your center square, which is the size that you want your shape to be. So this little center square will kind of indicate how big your box will be. And then as you look down, you'll notice that you have the 5 insert pieces that will go. These are just pieces you can cut out a different color or pattern paper, and those will go on the side. And then you have your top piece here. When I click on this, all the pieces are the same size. So, I mean, they're all grouped together. So if I enlarge one piece of this, it enlarges all of it. So to ensure that we get our box the right size that we want, the first thing I'm going to do is go over to the side here where it says drawing tools, and I'll grab the rectangle. Now,
Kesley,
yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No.
interrupt you, but really quick, before you get to that part, because someone did ask about the number for that explosion box, when you went to the library, can you show them where the number is?
Sure, that's a great suggestion. Okay, so the expanding box here, it is ID number 301403. So if you wanted to, what you would do, 301403. I think if I go into the store, it would take me to a different screen that you guys won't see. So you would just go to the store and type in the ID number 301403, and that box will pop up for you. That's always a good question. Thank you, Felicia. So we'll draw our square, and it comes in as a rectangle. So we'll just draw a little shape. You can draw that on the side there. And then in the bar at the top, the edit bar, what we'll do to go from a rectangle to a square is we will change it so that we can unlock the aspect ratio, which will allow us to take a rectangle to a square. So my piece on the bottom here, and I kept saying 3 inches, but it's actually 4 inches by 4 inches. So I'll want to make my box, the base of my box, to be 4 inches so I can add that right to the top of my box. So if I change my, if I change my rectangle here to be 4 inches by 4 inches, this will be the size that I want my box to be. So why am I doing that? I'm doing this because when I bring this over onto the actual design of the template, you can see that my square is much smaller in the center than my 4-inch square that I'd like it to be. So I need to enlarge everything. The reason why you want to keep everything grouped together is your top is right here. So I could just ungroup it and deal with each piece as I go, but I want to make sure, especially for my bottom, my base box, the exploding box part, and the top, I want to make sure that those are the same size. And because the template is all together, it's kind of glued all together, if you will. I don't really have a good way of determining the size of the center box. So by making my centerpiece 4 inches by 4 inches, and I'm going to put that onto my square. Let's get a little bigger here so you can see. I'm going to just line this piece up onto my center square in that left-hand corner. So I've lined it up along the top and the side. Now I'm going to click on the template itself and take a corner of it and just begin to enlarge this shape. So I'm on here, and you want to make sure that you have your select tool selected. We're going to make sure our proportions are locked so that way, if you stretch it out, it won't just do the height or the width. And Felicia, if you want to unmute somebody, if somebody has a question, feel free to. I see Patricia has her hand raised. I don't know if you can do that. Can you do that? Calling people with their hand raised?
Well, since this is a small class, I think I can do that. So Patricia, I'm going to ask you to see if you can unmute yourself.
And while you're doing that, I'm just taking my background shape, my template, and I'm beginning to enlarge that template. Now, it may get so big that it won't fit on my canvas anymore, but let's just double check. So I've got this whole thing enlarged so that the inside, the center square will be 4 inches by 4 inches. What that also has done, I can take my little square here and move that around and make sure that, okay, the top of my box is about 4 inches by 4 inches. And my inside squares here, they changed to accommodate the size of the template, but they're still going to be a little bit smaller. Okay.
So, Kesley, I tried to see, I'm going to see if I can promote her to a panelist and see if she can open up her chat.
Okay.
I mean, not chat, but open up her mic because I did request.
Okay.
Patricia,
All
do
right,
you have a question? You should be able to unmute yourself.
So I just did allow to talk. Did that work?
I did as well, but I
Oh.
don't see that. I see that her hand is still up.
Okay. Well, let's try Martha. Can I try Martha? Do allow to talk.
Sure.
Okay, Martha, can you unmute and ask your question? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, just make sure your questions are going in the Q&A for us. Now you can see as I've enlarged my shape, it's very close to the 12 by 12 size. So I'm just going to bring that in just a little bit so it's not right on the edge of my paper. So we'll just minimize that just a little bit hair inside, and then I'll have to trim my my accessory piece on top of that. Now, if you're making your own template, you would just have your inside square, your 4 squares on each side, and then add a little heart into each corner. And then that way you would have all the different shapes. Now, as you can see, everything is still grouped together. So I'm just going to hit ungroup. And to do that, I right click on that shape. My panel pops up and I say ungroup. Now I can move my shapes to up here. So I have everything, it's a little bit more visible. You do not have to do this, but it just makes things a little bit more visible to see. All right, now I can go ahead and send this to cut. If you're cutting things in different colors, so my template itself will be one pattern. My box top will be another pattern, and my rectangle extra squares here, those will be another color. So I may make those yellow or something like that. But so that things will cut out and I have a visual of it. I can just change the fill color of a shape. And even with that fill color changed, you can really see those dashed lines there and how those go through. So then I'm just going to go ahead and hit send. I'll be working with plain cardstock, but if you're not sure, you can drop down your choices. And if you're using, say, a heavy cardstock, like a heavier solid cardstock, you may want to choose to do the heavy cardstock as your option. So now all I need to do is load my material in and I'm ready to go. All right. So the name of the program, I'm using the Silhouette line of products today, and the software I'm using is the Silhouette Studio. So that is where I got the template for the box, and I'm able to resize it in there. If you have a different cutter, like if you have a Caesar machine or a Cricut machine, you can still do the exploding box in there. You just have to find an SVG and upload it into there.
Hey, Kesley, there was a
Yeah.
question mentioning that ID number, for whatever reason, is not working.
Okay.
The 301403.
Huh. All right, let's see. Let me share my screen again and we will go here. And if we do, let's type in the words expanding box. So if we type in these words to the expanding box, you will see some other options for expanding boxes. Let's see if this one does it. Because what you want is one that doesn't have the sides closed to it so that it just falls open. So let's see, exploding box. I wonder why that, did they do the hashtag on that number?
No, you should be able to just type in the number.
Okay. Here's one that will work. If you do a search for exploding box, there's a few there that pop up. Here's the heart one right over here. This is that has the hearts on the corners. Exploding box with heart corners and a scalloped lid. That is ID number 262738. So that one would work. Here's another one that's all hearts. If you're all heart for your mom, any of those would work. And then you would do the same technique there of resizing it if you needed to resize it. Okay, so let me switch over to my overhead camera. I'm going to slide these out of the way, and then we'll start working on cutting out our template. So I'll be using the Cricut, I'll be using Silhouette's cutting mats. So I keep my protective sleeve on here so that I don't get any debris on my mat. But one question I always get is, how do you keep your mat clean? Like, what if you leave it out overnight so you get some dust in there or something like that? I use a baby wipe, and that will keep my mat clean. Okay, so this packet has a lot of different choices, and you get 2 of each color. So we just want to flip these over. This is a cute one with the little daisies and the flowers there. That might be a fun one. I'm not going to use one that has the little sayings on there. And if you don't have a packet of paper, that's fine too. You can just grab your decorative cardstock that you like. One thing, when you're using a piece for this project that has a specific direction to it, just keep that in mind, because when you pull up the sides of the box, so if you lay out your squares on here, one of these sides will be upside down. So if that's going to go towards the back, maybe that's not a problem for you, and you still like the plaid on that side or the the boots. So whichever works for you. I kind of like this one because it's a little bit all over. I'll probably use this on the outside because there's clearly no direction. And then when you open up the box, if I did like this side on the inside, when I open up my box, you won't really see that the pattern is okay because it'll be one direction. So just keep that in mind when you're working with directional materials. Okay, so I've got my material down and I like to press it with my fingers to make sure that it's all going to stay there. And then we'll just load this into the machine. Now on the left side here are these guides. So I line the edge of my mat with that, and then I kind of just gently hold it against the wheels and push the load button. Okay. Got to remember if I have to load it in all the way. Oops. Okay, so there we go. Now, let me go ahead and I've got my material loaded. Oh. Okay, sorry guys.
Hey, Kesley, since you're right in the in this portion, if someone didn't have a cutting machine, what would be your thoughts on how they could obtain the same design?
So I would go to get the same design. You can make your own template since it's just really 4 squares and then a little heart on the inside. You can make your own template, or you could do like a Google search for exploding box template, and there are free templates on there.
Let me add to what you just said, because I think, and this was for Carol. Carol, know that you can actually have a free account for Silhouette Designs Studios. So they have a free and they have some paid services. So even if you go into the free service, find that design and then print it out on paper to make your own template. And then you can go from there and follow
Yes.
along with everything else that Kesley is doing.
Okay, let me see. Why am I not? It's for some reason. So I'm gonna need your silhouette knowledge here. For some reason, it is. I'm gonna share my screen. You tell me where I'm going wrong here, if it's me or what I'm doing. I have my paper loaded. It's saying load media. I've loaded my media. And oh, that's what it is. Okay, I didn't have it set to cut. Sorry. And which blade I'm using. I'm using the auto blade. Okay, and I want it to cut for me. I've got my blade depth all set up, but it's still not detecting my media being loaded.
So since you made those changes,
Yeah.
and is that the right silhouette that you're using? That's
Yes.
selected?
Yes. I have it connected to my machine. Let's go like this. So I have it connected to my machine. Let me see if I do it like Bluetooth, if that would help it. Oh, there we go. It's connecting through Bluetooth. Maybe I don't have my USB plugged in.
That was going to be my next question, but
Yeah.
And Patricia, for whatever reason, we were unable to get you to talk. So definitely put your question in the Q&A section and we will definitely get that answered for you.
Okay, so here we go. So
And
I'm ready.
Linda, and I just want to answer this one live. Linda,
Yes, no, great.
were you able to put in the new number that Kesley gave us? And I also put the link for that new design number in the chat. I thought I heard someone else talking. I wasn't for sure.
Okay. All right. So now I'm just cutting out the box, the first template. And right now the machine, you'll hear it going. What that's doing is it's making all those dash lines for me. So I've got all my dash lines that are coming across there. In the box. Now I did do a little cheat on my photos because I wanted to make sure that I had some really good quality photos for you guys. So I did get my photos offline. I'd love to say, oh, these are for a friend, but they're not. But I don't want to deceive anybody. But I did get my photos because I mean, I think part of the fun of working with photos, and I had someone tell me one time, they're not archival unless they're printed. So to give a gift to your mom or to another mom that actually has photos in it is really super special. So you'll just get your photos printed, and I did mine online at CVS. I know Costco does it online, but I like to go pick them up and take a look at them. So I'll just you can pick out as many photos as you'd like to pick out. I'll probably just start with 4 photos or 3 photos, and then I'm just going to trim them down into about 4 inches by 4 inches and go a little bit smaller than that, so they'll fit into that 4 inch by 4 inch box. So this is cutting along for me. And it cuts right to the edge, which is so nice.
Hey, Kesley, is there a similar design like that in Cricut that you're aware of?
Oh yeah, Cricut has an exploding box template. I don't know the name of it, but if you do, I actually have it on my Cricut account as a project. If you look for Coach Kesley or Kesley Anderson and go to my account on Cricut, I do have an exploding box project there as well. So now that that's cut my template out there, I can just unload my mat. When you're removing paper from your cutting mat, always turn it upside down and pull the mat off of your paper. If you pull your paper from the mat, what will happen is it will curl your cardstock. So you don't want it to curl the cardstock. You want it to just have your cardstock to lay nice and flat. And we're just going to remove the mat from the paper. So just turn it over and peel it off that way. Otherwise, your paper will have a curling effect, which you do not want to have. Now, for some reason, I'm missing some of my cuts. It cut part of it, but not all of it. Okay, so when that happens, it cut part of it. I can feel my cut lines and my dash lines, but for some reason it didn't cut all the way through on everything. So we're just going to give this another cut, and I'll use maybe my paper was a little bit thicker than I thought, but I'm also just going to check and make sure, because if you cut something like felt or something with glitter, you can get a little piece of debris stuck in your blade. So you just want to make sure that there's nothing in the way of your blade. And so we'll just give that another cut. Not this, I won't use the same paper. I'll use another piece of the same paper, but I just don't want to, I'm gonna have a nice cut to work with that. All right, so here we go. We'll just cut that a second time, and I'll just change my material to do a heavier paper. So instead of just plain cardstock, I'm going to go with the textured heavy cardstock, and we'll load that in. Then while that's cutting, we can start to cut out our photos and think about what color we want to use for the top of our box. Sorry about that. Sometimes that happens, All right, so let's get some of these photos starting to trim out. We'll do them in a 4 inch by 4 inch rectangles. Let's trim off a little bit there to get started. And then let's go about 3 3/4. So now I know these will be a little bit smaller, and so the background will show through on that. So we'll do the same thing here. Just take your pictures, however many pictures you want to use. And it's the reason that I, share that I'm not using my own photos, but I'm using stock photography, because I really wanted to pick pictures that that were like, that would clearly show on my camera, because sometimes if it's not, I just wanted to show clearly. But back in the day, somebody got in trouble for saying their own
Let me
photos
turn it down.
were, saying stock photos were their own photos. So I just wanted to be upfront on that. Okay, now I will only put these in lightly so that I can replace them with photos of my mom and myself over the years. I have to go
Let me
through
turn
her
it down.
1970s pictures and pull them out from when I was a little girl. So now with this pretty color as my base, my top, I might pick the plaid to go on the top of the pattern, just so I have something kind of neutral on the top. I also pulled out some solid colors, so I could go solid, but I think the solid colors would be pretty for the box or on the side. Okay, let me just make sure we're hitting all those questions as we're going through. Anybody ask any? I don't want to miss anything. All right. Okay. Now, the other thing that I really loved about this packet, and most, if you buy like packages of cardstock nowadays, if you get a whole set of them, they come with your sticker sheet. So within my sticker sheet, this is where I get all these little accent pieces here that I can add onto my box. And if you are using, say, a sticker that has adhesive on the back of it, and you don't want that sticker, you want to have it hanging off your box, you can just put a little sprinkle of baby powder in there, and that will remove the adhesive from the box. So that's a really fun trick there. Okay. Oh dear. I didn't catch it either. What is going on? All right. Well, this one's a little better. There we go. Usually it should cut really smooth through. You should not have it, it should just pop right off. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here, but I'll just use my little fingers and get this to come, sort of like use a perforation here. This come right off. So sometimes when your blade's not cutting right, one thing I always check is, did I select the right type of materials? Is it time to replace my blade? And I've been using this blade quite a bit, so it may be time to replace the blade. I also want to make sure that it's sitting in the holder properly, and that it's down far enough that it's cutting properly, because it should just come out nice and smooth. You should not have to kind of pull the paper off from the edge of that.
Hey, Kesley,
Yes, ma'am.
another suggestion would be you can change the depth of your blade, of your auto blade, to help it cut a little bit deeper. But definitely, if you're doing something like this, a good suggestion would also be to do a test cut, so that you can make sure
Yes.
that you're getting the right depth of your blade. And then at that point, if it doesn't seem like it is cutting deep enough, then at that point you can kind of little by little change the depth of the blade so that it'll cut completely through.
Do you prefer to do the depth cut on change the settings? in the software, Felicia, or do you prefer to manually change those depths of your blade?
Well, because the auto blade, once you select the material, will give you an automatic setting
Mhm.
that if for any reason that automatic setting does not work for me, then I will go in and manually change it because I want it to be able to cut completely through.
Yes, and it should. And I don't know, it really normally does cut completely through. So I'm not quite sure what I did, but I'll do a test cut. We'll do a test cut on the top of it. So we'll get that to cut through.
Yes.
And I can see where my perforation marks are for my scoring. So I can just fold right along those different marks. And I can just fold that like that. So this is going to be the foundation of your box. And the corners of your box have a scoring line on it as well. That will allow you to bring your hearts into the center as you go. So I'm just going along all my lines here, kind of giving my scoring marks. Now I like to fold it before I add any of my embellishments or anything like that, because I want to make sure I know where those score lines are going to be. So we just are going to fold in our corners just so easily like that. And you've got that little score line down the center to follow along with. So I just kind of get that going and then bring that right into the center. So you see how I bring that in? So I know that my center's going to, the center of my heart's going to go into the center of my box. So you just bring those sides together and then I just use my fingers. Now you could use a bone folder if you're using thicker material, if your material were more of a, like if you were using glitter cardstock or something like that, you may want to use a bone folder to go into and do that. But there is the base of my box. And I've got my pretty little outside going, and you can see the inside of the box. And then when you open it, it's going to explode. Now let's do, I think the plaid would be super cute to go with that little daisy print on the top. So we'll put that on our mat and cut out the top of our box. So again, I'm going to put this on here and we'll do the test cut. So you can see how to troubleshoot that if it doesn't cut for you properly. Yes, so somebody's asking about the recording of this class. All of Michael's online workshops are recorded so that at any time you can go back and watch it. So I find a lot of people will they'll watch the class with me and kind of just soak it all in and ask questions. And then they will go back and they'll go back and watch the recording so that you can pause the recording, do the step, pause, do the step and everything like that. So you really make sure that you know what you're doing if you have questions. So I'm going to do a test cut. And I just am going to go over here and say test, and it'll do a little test cut. So let me stop share. And we'll see if it's going to cut how we want it to cut. So we'll just unload that. And you can see it's right here in the corner. And it didn't quite cut it as close as I would like it. So we're going to give it another try. And we'll change our blade settings. So Felicia, I think what I was asking you was, do you change it on the actual blade itself, or do
No.
you change
In the
it in
software?
Okay, that's what I thought. I want to make sure, because once with the auto one, I don't change it once I've got it in there. So let's go over here. We're going to go back. I'll share my software again. So here's where the blade depth is, and I can increase that blade depth to a 4 or deeper if I want to. So let's give that a try there. And we can move our test cut over a little bit. Let's do this. I think I'm going to go advance it just a little bit. There we go. Look at me, I'm causing all kind of problems over, all kinds of chaos is happening over here. I think I hit that page advance one too many times there. With that going through. Okay. All right. So let me get my
So, Kesley,
paper. Yes,
Patricia
ma'am.
asking a question again. See, she's gonna try it again. Her dogs have been barking, so she's gonna try to unmute herself again.
Okay, perfect. Let's go. Let's do that test again.
Hey, Patricia, you are welcome to try again.
Let's see.
I guess not. So,
No.
Patricia, do us a favor and try to put your question in the Q&A section, and we'll try to help you with your question. Also, Kesley, there's a question asking if you can give the dimensions of the lid again.
Oh, sure. So your lid dimensions are going to be, you'll have your 4" by 4" square at the center, and then your side panels are about 1.25" down. So I'm sorry, 1" down. So your top, my top is 4" by 4", and my side panels are 1". And don't forget, if you're hand cutting this, you'll have that, if you can't, I covered it up on this one, but you'll have a little tab that you want to have on the side of each piece so that it will do that cut for you. All right, now let's get that test going again. Oh. My Silhouette software just quit on me. All right, let's see if I can pull it back up. Sorry, guys. My I think it may be my internet connection popped out on me. So let's see if we can get that going again. While I'm just pulling that back up, are there any other questions as we're going along and working? If you've gotten your base cut out, go ahead and start thinking about where and how you want to add your images onto your base. I'll probably do mine across the bottom again. So as it pops open, I have those 3 pictures on the bottom. Okay, let's try this again. And we're reconnecting with Bluetooth on our cutter here. Now it's thinking. Okay, I'll just do another test cut and give that a good run. And for some reason, all right, here we can do this. I'm gonna do one more test cut. This will work. All right, so that's a little bit better. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a run in and we'll make sure this is gonna work. So let's get this loaded. Okay, send this over. Now I'm just trimming out, I'm cutting out the top part of it. So let me share on my screen here. Where if you are hand cutting the top of it, the top piece, you'll see that there's center square is the 4" by 4", and each of these sides is 1", and then just a little tab on each side. to give you the little tab to glue. Because your box, you don't glue our box here. That's gonna hold together like this. So if you wanted to, find a cute little centerpiece. Let's see. I know we want to do the life is fun with you. And maybe the you are amazing would be super cute. So I'll just trim these out. Getting pushed out of the way here. All right. So since each of my squares is 4 inches by 4 inches, I know that if I put this at the 8-inch line, it should give me the cut pretty close to the center. Make sure I get it right, just right. There we go. And then I can always make these a little smaller if I need to. So we'll go 4 inches. And we want to do the you are amazing. So if you didn't have, if you didn't have a little packaged paper one, you could always make up your own little design if you wanted to, and cut out all these little pieces and make your own box, so your own little sentiment box, I call it, for your box. Okay, so that I've trimmed it down just a smidge there. I'm gonna go a little bit. Let's see, I think that should do it. So we've got that trimmed down, and I have my photos trimmed down. So like, let's say I want to put this in the center here. Get a little bit more off. We'll do a little trim on each side. 1/4. And we'll just trim it there. All right. So now that will fit in the center of my box for me, right like that. Isn't that cute? And let's pull off the top, because also I want to put one of these designs on the top. So here we are here. Again, I'm peeling my mat from my paper. And I want to hold that paper down so the paper doesn't curl. And here we go here. Now, if you wanted to, before you glue this together, you might want to think about putting a design in the center of your box to kind of have a little sentiment on the inside, which is what I did on this box. I just took one of the little squares and put that on the inside of the box. So I've got my box, and I can put a sentiment on the inside and on the outside. So let me just kind of square this off a little bit. And I'm going to make it so that my butterfly's upright. You are amazing there. And on the top of our box, we want to put life is fun with you. So I'm going to trim that one down a bit. Along those lines. The good thing is this does have the lines that you can follow as you trim. So I just line that up right on my paper trimmer and just trim that down. So I can put that right on the box. And as you can see with my line, with my shapes folded in, that will fit right on the center of my box. If I want to add a little bit around it so that the plaid is showing on the top, I would just trim on each side. So you just trim your shape down a little bit more. Sort of let the top give you a little mat on your design. So we'll put that on there. And since it's the top, this is a great spot to grab some of your foam dots or squares and add those to the corners. We'll just add those right on there. This will give it a little pop if you want on the top. So then you just peel off your corners. I love doing this. Like again, on this top, you can even make little teeny tiny rolled paper flowers if you wanted to give it a little bit more dimension and add that onto the top. Just gonna get that centered on there. Okay. And then I have my last sentiment to go on the inside. Maybe today is a beautiful day to smile would be cute. Hopefully today with your mom when you spend time together or with your kids. And I love this too because you could actually, if you wanted to work with your children, you could have this all cut out and then they could pick the pieces and put it together and gift it to you or to grandmother. Or this is a great little graduation theme box you could do. So I'm just going to put those adhesive on the four corners. Put that on the inside of my box so that'll fill up the inside. My lid, and then I'm going to begin putting tabs on the corners, a little adhesive on each corner. Now I could use my my tape runner, but I also, this is a spot where I might grab some liquid glue and put that right on there and glue that shut. Now the difference with the liquid glue is you do have to hold it for a minute or so that it will adhere for you. Just go like that. This glue, the Ultra Bond, glues so quickly, it holds so fast, so it doesn't take too long to get it to start sticking for you, and then you just have to give it a minute to sort of just dry up.
Hey, Kesley, there's a question asking, where did you get the printed squares from?
This is part of the collection. The packet I'm using is from a company called Echo Park, and it's on, you can get it on the Michaels website. And it comes in a pack which has pattern, double-sided pattern paper, the little sentiment squares, and then a sticker sheet. So let me grab out my sticker sheet. Now you could also use your designs in silhouette. So if you wanted to, you could cut out like flowers that could go onto it out of your silhouette machine and give it, you know, like a more paper crafted look. But I wanted to do more of, for this, I wanted to do the collection and really focus on the exploding box. Now, if you wanted to make your exploding box go a little bit bigger, on the inside part of it, what you would do is you would actually make your inside panel and remove your hearts on the corner. So your inside piece would fit on the inside here, and you would just have the two sides onto the panel. And that's all you would need to do on the inside. And then you can add little sentiments throughout the inside. You can make a little pocket to go into it and add a note if you wanted to. I did use some 3-dimensional dots here to do that. And Felicia, do you have like 5 more minutes and I can just show how to create the little heart sizes to fit? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Because this is something I think if you're just getting started with digital software, this is always a good thing to know. You can really manipulate your shapes using the tools that on the side here in the modify panel that allows you to weld, to subtract, or divide. So if I wanted to take my shape and I'm going to make a copy of it for myself so I have one to work on. And let's say I just wanted to do something with the hearts here and just create a pattern that cut out the hearts. What I would do is I would isolate one heart shape. So to do that, there's a couple of different ways you could do it. I think probably the easiest way to think about it is using other shapes to cut away from the original shape. So I would just take the rectangle shape here and I would make it so that it covered the part of the shape we don't want. So we're going to get rid of mostly this left side here. So I'll take the rectangle I just drew. Let me just change that color so we can see what that's going to look like. So if that's my rectangle there, and that covers up most of that side, oops, sorry, got a little extra, some rogue rectangles going on here. Okay, so I'll have that shape there, and that's going to cover up that side. You want to just make sure that it's covering up the whole part. And then we'll take both the background template and your rectangle and bring up the modify. And this is where we want to either subtract or divide. And basically what that's going to do is it will cut into the bottom shape where the top shape overlaps. So I can just move my rectangle aside, and you see it cut out the bottom shape there. Now if I take the same rectangle and I bring it down to the bottom of the heart, and I overlap those two pieces, just a hair, I'll just take both of those shapes now, do the same thing and say subtract all, and then I can move that shape. Now I have created just the heart shape that I need. There is this line that comes through the center, and that's the score line. So I'm going to use that line to create another line. So to do that, and this will all be included in the recording. I'll go from the corner here, and I'll click down on that and use the shift key and draw a straight line through the heart. Now I can change the width of that point a little bit if I need to, just go a little bit thicker there. And then I will select the heart and the line, and I'll do the same thing, and I'll divide this time. What that is going to do is take my heart into, oops, I did it on that thing. Okay, let me just do this. It got that, sorry about that. It got the dash line there. All right, let me do that line again. Go right in from one corner to another corner, just like that. And then I'll make that line just a little bit thicker up in the edit bar here. I'll just go a little bit thicker so that it has something to grasp onto, if you will. And then I'll do my select tool, and I'll grab the heart and the line, and we'll say divide. What that will do is it should create a dividing. Why is it not doing that? Do I not have both? I have that selected and that selected. Let's do subtract. My goodness. I don't know why I have so many lines there all of a sudden. Okay. So I have my one line. I'm going to make it a thicker line. And we're just going to grab both of those pieces, and we're going to do divide. Now what that should do, I'm looking for that to do, is kind of cut a line between the hearts. For some reason it's not doing it. All right, let's try one more. Maybe I just need a thicker line here. There, we'll go a little bit thicker. All right, now we'll do the heart and the line, because what we want to do is remove that line from the heart to give us a two, so that we have two different things to work with. But why is it doing that? I did this just this morning to make sure it was working, like it was working. There we go, subtract. Now I have both of my heart shapes on each side. And so this is where that score line was. If I go to the offset and I offset with the internal offset on both of these pieces, what will happen is it will draw the inside of each heart.
So Kesley, Alejandra put in the comments, can you use the knife? And I'm going to answer, yes, you can.
Yes, yes, you could have just used the knife. Yes. I think because I was already in the modify panel. So there now you have those two shapes of the heart that you would cut out and add to the side panel, like these two hearts, these sides of the hearts here. And then you can just decorate those up, add a sentiment. If you wanted to cut a photo in that shape, you could certainly do that. What I would do is create like a template. So you have that shape cut out, and then you could kind of hold it over your photo to see, which part of that photo you want to cut into that shape. But that is our exploding box. So either way you do it, it is adorable, and you can keep building onto the box. You could also use,
really quick before you close out, there's a question asking about the black line separating the pictures. Is that black paper that you may have used behind?
Yes, the cardstock I used had this little ditty print on one side and then just black with white polka dots on the inside. Now, if you didn't love the color of your inside, you could always take two pieces of cardstock, or let's say one you didn't have a pattern on the inside, you could just take another piece of cardstock and adhere them together to create the center of your design. That makes sense. And then don't forget, for your centerpieces, you'll just take the same shape and make it incrementally smaller and just remove the outside edges here, because as you can see, when you close up the box, you have those shapes on the inside. So those will just kind of get pushed to the side, but you'll just do the 4 panels on the side. So you have the one centerpiece and then the panels on the side, and then it opens up to show all the different decorations on the inside. And then you can, if you want to, you can decorate your outside too. I just opted not to because it was getting a little bit heavy for me. So I just did the inside, and then you just close it up and add the top. And then when you gift it, you have a nice surprise for somebody. Not fine.
Awesome.
All right, well, thank you. And I think we have one more question, but thank you so much, Felicia, for answering those questions.
You were welcome. It was just a comment, so I wanted you to see.
Yeah, no, that's great. Super helpful. And Donna, I just want to address Donna's comment here. She said, sorry you're having issues, user error, but happy to see someone a lot more experienced than me running into issues. You know what, Donna? It's always, I always take every time I have a mistake or an error as just a learning curve. And Felicia's right, like you always can do that little test cut to make sure that you have the right settings for your material. So if you're using paper that you only have one of and you really want to make sure that you get the right cut, then you can run that test cut. And it's always it is good to like make mistakes and to learn from those mistakes. That's how we get to be better crafters. So I can't wait to see what you guys do. If you do make an exploding box and you want to share it, please tag Learn with Michaels in Instagram or Facebook. We would love to see what you make. And I can't wait to see you guys. Have a happy Mother's Day. And I hope you have fun making exploding boxes.